Wonder Diamond, South India's largest lab-grown diamond brand, stores at Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore and Hyderabad.
Hello, Sunny Leone. Welcome to
Hi.
Galata Plus.
Thank you.
And welcome to your big role in Tamil cinema as well. Oh My Ghost.
Yes.
I like the fact that you call her badass queen or something like that. That's what the trailer said.
Yeah.
So-
Or I think they tagged me as stylish Thalavi. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay. Just,
I understand half of it. 50%?
yeah. Now, Talaibi is just basically like
Like
the
girl
ruler,
or
empress,
yeah, okay.
the woman who rules over the others. You know, that's a
I
good
like
thing,
that.
right? You like that?
I
It's
like
that
that.
better than badass queen, right? It's
Yeah.
like because there's this amazing shot where you hurl the spear at someone and it goes through them, and like looks like you're going to be doing a lot of bad things in the movie. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Well, not so bad, but
Okay.
maybe a little bit.
okay, right? What does it feel like to work in another language? I mean, do you have a photographic memory? Do you have somebody prompting you with the lines on sets? How do you work in other languages?
So what I found really interesting about all the different films that I've done that's not Hindi or English is I do not have a photographic memory. Is that each production house has a different way of how they want you to learn the language. So with Oh My Ghost, we sat here in this office, we sat here for a few days going through the lines, and I basically memorized about, I'd say 80 to 90%. And then in between, if he needed me to say something a different way, the director himself would either prompt me or say, no, I want you to say it this now. And that's kind of how we work together. I have a deal with all South film directors and producers is that I will only take direction from the director and not anybody else. I don't want the assistants and then the via the translator, the this person, that person. And they're so more than accommodating to want to help you and have all these people around where I say, I just need you. You and I will communicate. I will figure out how to learn how you communicate, basically.
Right.
Whether it's in broken English, whether it's in Hindi, or whether it's in different signs of how you want me to do things. But I find that it's easier to do this than to have a translator, than have someone translating what everybody's saying and how to say it, because this game called Chinese Whisperers happens on set.
Yeah.
And somewhere between the director, the assistant, the translator, somebody else, another actor, translating everything, it becomes something completely different.
Yeah.
So I say, I'm only going to speak with you. I will come to you. You don't even need to get up. I'll come there. We'll discuss, and then let's shoot. So it's always a challenge figuring it out. One of the films I shot, I learned everything. Shero, I learned all the lines. And I think that helped so much more. Some people are saying, no, it's not necessary. We'll be there for you. We'll translate it. We'll put it in such a way that when we do the syncing, it'll look exactly like you're saying the words. And I've learned that it's easier not to fight the system or argue with the system saying, no, I want to learn all of it.
Right.
And just take that pressure off of them, and then they feel like they're taking the pressure off me. Although it's not taking the pressure off me, because I would rather learn it than them saying, no, you don't need to do any of that.
Right,
So
right.
each production's different.
Different. You just spoke about Shiro, and one of the, I think, amazing things about that movie is the poster, because it has you looking all bloodied and bruised, and I mean, I'm assuming it's an action kind of movie because
It's
it
like a
says Shiro.
psychological thriller.
Thriller, yeah. Really interesting thing about the poster is that your name appears above the title, and I think that's.
I didn't notice.
Oh, you didn't know? You didn't
You know
know?
what? It's my name, so I didn't notice. I was looking at the picture. I was looking at everything else.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at it again.
Yeah, because it's like there's Sunny Leone and then there's Shiro. So there's like above the title. So I was going to ask you if that was like a big moment for you.
I didn't
but then you
notice.
didn't notice.
No, it's my. I don't notice where my name goes, or how everything is supposed to be. I was looking at the poster in the entirety instead of
Right.
those small. My name I'm not looking at, because for me it's a small detail versus me seeing Shero and the pictures and how it's all laid out.
I just entered your office and there was these cosmetics and,
Yeah.
I think there is a clothing line as well.
Yes.
There's all these other entrepreneurial things that you do. When you started out and you did not know where this career was going to go, as in where this India stint was going to go, did you look at acting as just another vertical with all the other verticals that you have, or did you genuinely want to become an actor? There was a spark inside you that said, I've grown up with Hindi films or whatever it is, and I want to give this a shot.
My first thing that I've done since I was a very small kid was work and create my own little world of making money or starting my own business and all that. So that was always on the forefront. This was like a dream. Like if you had a bucket list and you said, this is what I would really like to do with my life. I love films. I want to act in them. But I don't know if it's possible for me to do. Because at that time, in my head, it was not a reality. It was like something you see and you can't touch it. And then it happened, and I love it, and I think it's so much fun. And now everything I think goes hand in hand for most celebrities. Your social media, the digital world, your films, shows, ad films, the things you do on the side, your charity work, plus other businesses you start. I think in today's world, everything goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
And especially for, I think, females, and males, but I think for females we have a shorter shelf life, and depends on what you do with your life so that you can keep on working. It's important to know different things and expand yourself in different avenues. And cosmetics I've always loved. We started with fragrances, and we know everyone. We were in Los Angeles, Daniel and I, we were talking about, what should we do? And I said, well, we know everybody in the fragrance world. We've been shooting for these deos and perfumes and all these different things for other people. Why can't we do it on our own?
Yeah.
And then it was like a switch. It was like a little light bulb. And Daniel says, yeah, you're right. And he's like the brain of the engine. And so smart, so knowledgeable. And he was able to connect all the dots. And then we were able to start creating things. And that's kind of where it all started.
Is part of this engine, so to speak, also maybe producing films or content in Bollywood or any other industry or even for television in India?
I think it's on Daniel's plate that he would like to do. For me, it's not on my plate.
You're not interested in being a producer?
I think I would be a good producer and like crack the whip type of mom. So I think in that way I would be helpful on a production, in organizing, being able to figure out all the ins and outs. That's easy for me to do. I've done it for a very long time. I feel like unless it's economically correct, feasible, like we know that we are in a comfort zone before even shooting, then I would consider it. If it's like a up in the air, let's see what happens, whimsical type of, I want to fulfill my dreams type of moment, no, I don't. Because it has to make sense in the numbers first, which a lot of things, as we've noticed, does not make sense in the numbers.
Right.
So I know he wants to, but for me, it has to make complete sense. That's where Daniel and I kind of balance each other off, I think.
He's the dreamer and you're the practical
No,
person.
I'm more the dreamer and he's more the practical, but there's a couple of things where he's like, really, I think it would be great if we could do this. And every time I'm like, well, I don't know. I know what happens on set every day. I'm there every day, and he's kind of on the outside of that bubble when shooting and watching people and watching how productions run and watching how people function and the things that go wrong, the things that go right,
When you said that you wanted to enter the entertainment industry and Big Boss happened or whatever, the invitation happened, was there a point you were also considering maybe, let's see what Hollywood has to offer or something like that? Was that also an option or?
I think that these two worlds are completely different. And there's a big difference between a world where people want to actually listen and see you versus where you're in an ocean of millions of fish trying to accomplish the same thing. And
By the ocean, you mean Hollywood?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, by, every single person, the people working in the grocery stores, people, the waiters, the waitresses, bartenders, the people who are like in their accountant's office or their doctors or their nurses, whatever it is, everybody is trying to get their foot into Hollywood. And the amount of dedication, I think, is on some other level of dedication, and starting young and starting, with a support system where maybe you don't necessarily have to make ends meet. You have a system in place. Your hunger is different, your drive is different. So when I finally came here, it was like, oh wow, you're interested in what I have to say? This is amazing. And at that time, acting was just the ability to get a chance to do it.
Okay.
And everything is a stepping stone to becoming better or bigger, and is a whole new world. And I had no interest in going back to the US. I still have no interest in going back to the US.
And now you are acting in an Anuragkashyap film.
Yeah.
And I asked him if I could ask you anything about the film, and he said, well, ask her. And I'm assuming you're not going to say anything about it.
He gave me specific instructions that do not say anything more than what I've said, because I'll get in trouble and you'll get in trouble because of all these legal contracts of keeping things on a hush.
Right.
And I'm extremely excited about this film. And
What has he said, though?
just that there's a film.
Just that there's a film. That's all he said.
He's not said that there's a title. He's not said anything, right? To you? What do you know? You tell me what you know, and I'll tell you if it's correct.
I'm trying to fish and see what you can tell me.
Yeah, I can't tell you anything until you tell me what you know.
Okay, let's just leave the subject there. But give me this. Did you have an audition for the film?
I did have an audition
Okay.
for this film, and it was I've had a couple of auditions since I've been here in Bollywood, and the first one, I believe I did well. The commercials and the business side of it didn't gel up, and I ended up not doing that film. And then this was one of the other ones where he called and said, I want you to audition for this part, and sent me the lines, and I went in expecting it was just going to be maybe him and maybe a producer or somebody, but it was his entire team and it's mainly all females, and they're all sitting in the room where everything, like the ADs, the assistants, everyone is sitting in this room, and I'm giving this audition, so nervous, don't know why, but I'm very nervous, I'm scared because it's outside of my comfort zone for sure.
With the audition process itself?
Yeah, well, having like 10 people staring at you, giving an audition, thinking, these people are judging you on the spot and are going to say yes or no. There is no black and white, in the middle of the black and whites, a yes or a no. And then once the audition was finished, he turned to his team, which then became even more scary. And he said, so guys, what do you think?
Oh my,
and I was
right
like,
in front of you.
Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing.
This is right in front of you.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the worst exam I've ever taken in my entire life. Because, you write the exam and then only after the teacher says if you pass or fail. So he was very happy, and then he turned to his entire team one by one, asked them what they thought, what their opinion was, and it was good. It was unanimous. I passed the test.
Congratulations.
And thank you. That in itself felt amazing. And then that was it. And then we just connected all the dots after that and made it work.
What about movies like Oh My Ghost or Shero? Do they just decide that there's no audition for them? They just say they want you, and then they come to you with if the financials work out, then you say yes to
Yeah,
those
you
films?
like the story, they're willing to work with you, send you an acting coach or a dialogue coach, and just kind of work with you based on previous things they've seen of me, or maybe it's just my name, or maybe it's just that they just want me in the film. So it just depends. But for this, I think there's just a few biggies within this industry that make, I think, most people audition for a part, which I think is good
Yeah.
because it makes you understand also that person's hunger and that also that person's ability, how they're going to be under that much. I mean, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
How you're going to be under pressure and take direction and everything. So I was happy about this whole process and so thankful to him.
I don't know if this makes sense, but in a strange way, it's a bit of a validation because so far, everyone has approached you because because like you just said, your name
Yeah.
or your saleability or whatever it
Right.
is, you go into this and it's like you just said, it's like an exam. And, somebody's saying, okay, I gave you this test and you passed. And
Yeah.
that's like a nice validation that you're able to get through that, right?
Yeah,
It's like
it was kind of a nice moment. I actually didn't believe that it was all happening until I reached set, because I don't know, things happen. People
Yeah.
change their mind. Money's not, on the forefront of their minds. They want a good film, someone that's going to carry that character
Yeah.
across correctly, and. Yeah, I didn't believe it until we were actually there.
So, Big Boss was what made you famous, but at what point during, I think it's been about what, 10 years now?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It's
So,
my tenure.
yeah,
I should get an award.
Yeah,
Like
what-
in schools and places in the US, they have this thing where after 10 years you're like celebrated and you get like like a certificate completing your tenure. Not happening.
But you got
I'll
Oh
have to
My,
ask Santa
you
for
get
that.
Oh My Ghost, which is your first lead role in a Tamil film.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Most of the things that that are coming out now are pretty amazing things.
At what point did you feel, okay, right, okay, now I really belong here? At what point did that thing kick in?
I don't know when it actually happened, but I always believed in the idea of if you're in everyone's face all the time, you're not going anywhere, then they'll also start to believe that you're not going anywhere. I'm like that, that little kid going, "Hi, I'm still here," and knocking on their door. And I just think that persistence is the key to a lot of things you do in life. And if I were to pick a moment, I have no idea what that moment.
Would be?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a very good question. The moment, I don't know. Maybe when I bought my house, I thought, oh, okay, now I have a house.
Yeah.
Now
You're
there's no
rooted.
going anywhere.
Yeah. Is it true that your husband actually had to make a PowerPoint presentation in order to convince you to be part of Big Boss? Because I'd read this somewhere and I was like, that can't be true. I mean,
I don't know, did he? I want to yell across. He had to do a lot because oh yes, they did send a PowerPoint presentation. Absolutely. They had to give me the stats of like their show, their viewerships, the countries they were in. I remember seeing it now. It's all coming back to me. Because he first came to me and said, there's a show in India, it's Big Boss, and they want you to go. And I said, get out of here. It's not happening. And I just walked away. I said, are you out of your mind? They'll be so mad if I go there, because in my head it was something completely different. And then he came back and then he said, here, look at this. And it was a little bit of convincing that was happening. Yes. I think at that point in my life, you want nobody to judge you.
right.
Right? But I was doing the same thing, and it's very hypocritical. I was thinking in my head, there's no way people are going to accept me there. I am not going to go somewhere where I'm going to be treated badly. And the only reason I say that is because in the beginning of my career, I'd received so much hate mail and death threats and all sorts of crazy things when I first came into the adult entertainment industry that I said, there is no way I will ever go to India as Sunny Leone because they're so angry at me.
You got that
Yeah,
threat
yeah.
from
When I
Indian
first,
Indian
right. So
people.
then I said, there's no way I'm going to go to India and actually be on national television and put myself out there. But when I got those letters, I was 19 and I was 20. And when you're 19 and 20, there's a lot of things that affect you
Yeah.
in a certain way that would never affect me now. And you just don't know. And I was alone, so it wasn't like I had someone to guide me or speak to about these things, saying it's okay, relax, like don't worry about haters. There's so many out there. And that was my first encounter with trolls and people talking all sorts of bad things. So when he came to me with the show, I said, no way, it's not happening. You're crazy. And I was wrong. I was so wrong. I was judging when I came here, majority, let's say 90% of people were not judging me.
Yeah.
They were in support. And that 10% didn't matter, that they were angry or they didn't want me here or they were sending me, like nasty messages on social media. So then it didn't matter. And I made a big mistake that at that time, before coming here, being exactly what I don't want people to be like.
Now you've been in Big Boss, and then you've been hosting Splitsvilla for this is the 8th season?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
What happens when people are put in front of a camera? Do they show their natural behavior? Are they conscious of the camera and they become a certain way just so that they're seen or perceived a certain way?
From my learnings of dealing with reality shows is it takes a very rare person that switch goes on and off for the camera. It's very, very interesting to watch firsthand. I didn't know anything about, reality television, how it works in India. So for me, it was really new when I was on. But from what I've seen, it takes a very rare person to have that switch go on and off. I think eventually your true personality and who you are comes out.
It does? Okay.
But if you are stuck in these four walls with me, with everybody who's in this room, all your emotions and everything will be so sensitive and it's on a high because you're deprived of everything. I take this phone away from you. I take the iPads or all these, digital phones and everything away from you. No TV, nothing. We are eventually going to argue about something.
Right.
Or we're going to be hypersensitive about things that would generally not bother us. So with reality television, that's what it is. It's like psychological warfare. And you're deprived of these like simple sensory items that you're so used to having, or calling your mother, or calling your friend. Someone is your bounce board when you are irritated or you're having a bad day. Where there is no bounce boards. It's just the people who are around you.
Yeah.
And I think that your natural personality and who you are definitely does come out. And you can only fake it for so long until you either like burst open or something comes out of you. Like there were a few people this year who I watched and I'm like, do you even talk? What is going on with you? You're on television. Whatever it is that you're interested in life, what things that make you happy. I'm not telling you to fight with anybody. And that's what I tell these contestants and these Splitsvillans that come in every year, is that I'm not telling you to fight. If you feel angry, feel angry. If you feel happy, feel happy. If there's things that you like to do, show those things about your personality. Because the entire world is, I think it's like 26 different countries that Splitsvilla is aired in many different languages, I believe. So be who you are, because you were selected for a reason, because you're a trendsetter, because your fashion sense, because of your views and opinions on life, because of who you are. So many different reasons why someone is chosen. That personality is what I would also like to see come out, because they all have amazing background stories, or they have things that happen to them. We have a few different really crazy things that happen in this season that definitely, when those episodes air, we're going to have to talk about it out loud and really help these people that might need help.
So one of the things about Splitsvilla is that it also travels across India.
Yeah.
What's that been like?
It's pretty amazing. It's one of the only platforms that I'm on that reaches pan India and also outside of India. And I'll go to the most random places, and someone will say, you know, oh, I watched Splitsvilla, I love it, or my wife does. I just had someone just recently, I was having lunch with my sons. While we were leaving, one of the waiters said, every time I go home from work, my wife is watching Splitsvilla. I was like, oh, I'll tell her thank you. So it's a nice feeling that they connect with the show. They connect with the emotions, the feelings. They connect with the situations that are happening, and they enjoy it.
Have you ever felt stumped by, because you know when you're doing Anurag's film or Oh My Ghost or Shero or whatever it is that you're doing, or let's say you're doing a dance number or whatever it is, there's always somebody that's controlling you, that they give you lines, they give you instructions, you know, they give you steps, whatever it is. But this is you pretty much managing the show.
Well, like you just said, people are telling you what to do, or, you know, let's say if it's a song, there's a choreographer, they're guiding you through it. If it's a director, they're also guiding you through it. I try and leave a certain amount of open lines of communication as best as possible, as best as I can, where it's not me deciding what needs to be done. It should be the director, or it should be who.
In Splitsvilla.
In Splitsvilla?
Yeah, in the you know, because
yeah,
I said
yeah.
in films you get directions,
Right.
but on the show you're
Yeah.
pretty much, you know, responding to what's happening. That's
Yeah,
what I was
it's
asking.
just like what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, you're asking a question from my response.
Right.
It's just about listening to these kids. They're basically kids. Listening to these kids, figuring out what's going on with them. Of course, there is a flow to the evening or to a certain challenge, but their emotions is all we react to.
Right.
And, you know, either cheering them on or correcting them or trying to guide them through their feelings, and or telling them that, listen, if you do need help, I'm here for you. If you need to talk to somebody, if production's not listening to you, you need to talk to somebody, please talk to me, and I will try my best to understand you. And during any of the challenges, or let's say they go back to their rooms and their villas and they all connect and they all fight, or they all, you know, like each other, don't like each other, whatever it is. We know about what happened. We get, you know, all the updates of everything that's going on with them. And you know, if they want to share it, they share what's happening, or, you know, the viewer sees. So it's our job to guide them a little bit through some of their feelings. And of course, I get in the in-ear, don't give them too much gyan, Sunny. I was like, but they need help. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you feel a little protective about them, because
I
they're
do.
so young, you know? So
Yeah, I do, absolutely. Because there's some emotions that happen in a show where they do need some guidance, and I don't want to leave them on their own. So I don't listen and try and tell them, you know, it's okay, like, get through it, and, you know, let me know if there's something I can help.
You're set for a long engine pulling you along. You got your cosmetics line, you're going to go to a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy of life?
Just keep working. I'm like a choo-choo train. Chug, 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 chug.
Just keep working?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that I would ever want to stop. Whatever it is, in any direction that it, you know, life takes you.
Yeah.
I learned a long time ago that the second I start planning, all right, we're going to do this, this, and this, is the exact moment where I set the path, it goes left,
Right.
or it goes right, or it goes like this, or a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So there's no point to set such crazy goals that are either A, unattainable, or you have to be open to the idea that other amazing things are going to happen, and just ride with it.
So basically have a plan B and a plan C.
Yeah, well, you know, there's the staples of what are set up within our company and our production, like the cosmetics and the clothing, fragrances, and so many other things. So that is there. It's like, you know, sustainable income. reoccurring income. And then there's our passions, which is for Daniel music, and for me, you know, the arts and filmmaking and television and everything.
Right. So now what can you tell me about the Anurag film? No, I'm kidding.
The
Thank you.
Anurag film, I hope you're gonna like. I worked really hard on it.
No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
a character I've never played before.
Yeah. No, I was just like kidding because thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and all the best for Oh My Ghost.
Thank you so much.
Wonder Diamonds, South India's largest lab-grown diamond brand, stores at Chennai, Coimbatore, Bangalore and Hyderabad.